The universe had seen its share of wars. Galactic empires, alliances of species, and ancient artificial intelligences had clashed in devastating battles across star systems for millennia. But nothing, had prepared the galaxy for what was about to unfold on the desolate world of Goriah 7. In the farthest reaches of the rim, the last bastion of humanity would become a legend that no one, not even the most war-hardened generals of the galaxy, could have anticipated. The arrival. Humanity had never been much of a contender in galactic politics. By the time Earth developed faster-than-light travel, most of the galaxy's core systems were already under the control of powerful empires, the Keruv, insectoid conquerors who thrived on consuming lesser species, the Zalvar, biomechanical beings with a collective hive mind, and the Esrat Consortium, a conglomerate of reptilian species who viewed war as just another economic venture. Humans, by contrast, were an oddity. Physically weak, technologically inferior, and lacking the genetic or mental enhancements that so many species had evolved over eons, they seemed destined to serve as little more than fringe dwellers in the galactic order. They were tolerated, occasionally exploited, but largely ignored. Then the TYRN appeared. The TYRN were something different, creatures of pure energy and malevolent purpose. They didn't want resources, territory, or even slaves. They only wanted destruction. When their massive black ships entered a system, everything organic was eradicated in mere hours, leaving planets as barren husks. And their invasion spread like wildfire. Entire galactic sectors fell within weeks, systems burning in the wake of their invasion. The united forces of the Keruv, Zalvar, and Esrat proved utterly ineffective. Their advanced technology was of little use against an enemy that seemed to defy the known laws of physics. Where shields and weapons failed, the TYRN merely adapted and continued their relentless advance. As the galactic powers scrambled to defend their territories, humanity became a footnote in the grand narrative. Earth had already fallen, along with most of its colonies. The remnants of humanity, scientists, engineers, soldiers, and civilians alike, fled to the farthest reaches of the galaxy, hoping to hide, to regroup. They found themselves on Goriah 7, an unremarkable mining world on the outer rim, preparing for what they knew would be their final stand. The stand on Goriah 7. The leaders of the other races didn't bother sending help. Why would they? Humanity was a lost cause. Goriah 7, with its low population and rudimentary defenses, was no match for the TYRN. But the humans didn't see it that way. They weren't preparing for an evacuation. They were preparing for war. With no reinforcements, no fleet, and limited resources, the survivors banded together under the command of General Alexis Carter. A former Earth Space Navy officer, Carter had seen the fall of Earth firsthand and had vowed never to let it happen again, even if it meant fighting to the last man. "We're not running anymore," Carter had told her ragtag group of soldiers and civilians. "This is where we make our stand. If the TYRN want to destroy us, we'll make them earn it." Goriah 7's defenses were primitive by galactic standards, an outdated planetary shield generator, a handful of orbital defense platforms, and a few thousand ground troops armed with projectile weapons that were little more than antiques compared to the plasma rifles of the Esrat or the bioweapons of the Zalvar. But what humanity lacked in firepower, they made up for in ingenuity and sheer determination. The planet's natural terrain, a series of jagged mountain ranges and deep valleys, became their greatest advantage. Under Carter's leadership, the humans turned the planet into a fortress, using the mines, caves, and canyons to create hidden bunkers, sniper nests, and traps. Every mine shaft, every rocky outcropping became a potential ambush point. But their greatest weapon was one the galaxy had never understood: humanity's indomitable spirit. The battle begins. The TYRN arrived in the Goriah system like a dark tide. Their ships, blacker than the void itself, blotted out the stars as they descended upon the planet. The humans knew they were coming. There was no stealth in the TYRN's approach, only brute force and annihilation. The first wave hit the orbital defenses, smashing through the automated platforms in minutes. But when they reached the planet, they encountered something they had not anticipated. Resistance. The initial ground assault was met with a ferocity that stunned even the TYRN. Human soldiers, armed with little more than kinetic weapons and explosives, fought with an intensity that bordered on madness. Snipers picked off TYRN foot soldiers from unseen positions, guerrilla units emerged from hidden caves to ambush patrols, and engineers rigged entire sections of the mountains to collapse on advancing forces. The TYRN, who had never before encountered a species that could resist their invasion for more than a few hours, were forced to adapt. They sent in more troops, more firepower, expecting the humans to crumble. But they didn't. Every time the TYRN broke through a line, the humans fell back, regrouped, and struck again, refusing to surrender an inch of ground without exacting a heavy toll. The battles were brutal, fought in close quarters among the jagged rocks and narrow ravines. Human soldiers resorted to knives, bayonets, and even fists when their ammunition ran dry. Civilians fought alongside soldiers, using whatever they could find, improvised explosives, mining equipment, even sharpened metal pipes. The humans fought with a desperation born of the knowledge that there was no escape. The tipping point. Days turned into weeks, and still the TYRN could not take the planet. They poured more and more resources into the battle, growing increasingly frustrated at the humans' stubborn resistance. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the other races watched in disbelief. Reports of the human stand on Goriah 7 spread through the core worlds. The Keruv, the Zalvar, and the Esrat had all fallen back, their fleets in retreat, their worlds burning. But the humans, held firm. And then came the moment that would be remembered for eons to come. As the TYRN prepared for what they believed would be their final assault, General Carter initiated the last phase of her plan. The humans had been stalling, buying time, not for reinforcements, but for a weapon they had been building in secret, deep within the planet's core. The humans called it the Iron Heart. It was not a superweapon in the traditional sense. It was a last-ditch effort, a planetary-scale EMP pulse designed to disrupt the energy patterns of the TYRN. If it worked, it would disable their ships, their weapons, even their very bodies. If it failed, humanity would be utterly destroyed. The TYRN launched their final assault, their ships descending in waves. The ground trembled as they unleashed their full firepower on the human defenses. And then, in a moment of blinding light, the Iron Heart activated. The pulse spread across the planet like a shockwave, and for the first time in galactic history, the TYRN faltered. Their ships crashed to the surface, their soldiers collapsed in the fields, and the skies above Goriah 7 went silent. The humans had done it. Against all odds, they had crippled the TYRN. The aftermath. The Battle of Goriah 7 became a rallying cry across the galaxy. For the first time, the TYRN had been defeated, not by advanced technology or overwhelming firepower, but by the sheer will of a species the galaxy had long considered insignificant. Humanity was no longer an afterthought. They had proven that even in the face of total annihilation, they would not go quietly into the night. Their victory sparked a resurgence among the other species. Alliances were formed, strategies revised, and the galaxy united against the TYRN in a way it had never done before. But for the humans on Goriah 7, the cost had been immense. Of the tens of thousands who had defended the planet, only a few hundred remained. General Carter, who had led them to victory, was among the dead. But her name, and the names of those who fought and died beside her, would live on forever. Humanity had made its last stand, and in doing so, had changed the course of the galaxy. The Battle of Goriah 7 was over, but the legend of the Iron Heart had just begun. The galaxy would never forget.